Right, okay, welcome everybody to our events meeting. First item on the agenda is item 55, apologies for absence of reasons.
It's Councillor Dan Taylor and Councillor John Spencer, both for acceptable reasons.
Thank
Can
you.
I have a proposer, please? Thank you. Second. Thank you. All agreed?
Declarations of interest. Anybody that has any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest, if they'd like to declare it either now or during the meeting, please.
No.
And item 57 is minutes from the previous meeting. We can't really do those actually, can we, because Peter was not here. So is only myself and Sophie that were here
But
last
he's a
time.
member of the committee,
So we can agree them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So are we happy that they're a true record?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Proposer, please. Thank you.
I'll second the bits that I was here. Thank you. Item 58, update on Remembrance Parade and report on the training. Do you want to do the report on the training?
Yes. So me and Jan went on the training last Wednesday now? Yeah. So we received the training on parades and constitutional events for road closures. And we've delivered that to the marshals. So they did confirm that you need 2 people on each roadway. We did originally think that you needed 1 person on the whole staff, but it is 2 people on every single roadway. I think that
So we have enough marshals trained, ready to go for the day. We have got a couple of spares, haven't we, just in case there is an issue with anybody being ill, so we should be fine for the day.
was.
Anything you need to report, Jan, on the
No,
minutes?
we've got confirmation of St John's ambulance in attendance. We've got our certificates through and we've had signs delivered from the police today.
Okay. So the other issue that we now need to address, obviously the signs that we have are not the full amount of things that we require. The signs that are available that we need to collect from John, obviously with his situation at the moment, it's unlikely that we're going to get those. So my suggestion would be, if everybody's in agreement, that we contact the person that Stephen has referred us to that is prepared to offer all the signs that we need for the event free. And then obviously that will deal with that event, and then the signs we can then get here in between times before any future events that we hold. So that would be my proposal, that we use that contact to get the signs that we need for the event. So are we happy with that?
We won't. Do we need any cones? Or have we got enough within our stock?
There's enough round the back there.
There are 3 there.
So we need 15.
But we've got some round the back, and then we have got some in the park. And
But I suspect I'll contact this person later today, but I would imagine that they will come with absolutely everything.
yeah,
And
cones, barriers,
I
everything.
believe this, what they're expecting to do is that they will come out and they will actually put out the signs for us. I think that's what the plan is. But I will confirm that. Obviously we've got the advance warning ones that need to go out this weekend, so we'll deal with those ones. But I think that that's what they're suggesting, is that they would turn up on the day and
Doesn't matter, yeah.
put out all the signs that we require for the day. So that would save us that issue on the day, and that would also save us the issue with the sandbags, I suspect.
I've just written that down, sandbags.
But I will check out tonight, and then we can decide if we do need sandbags. Then we can arrange for the staff to probably.
We've got one member of staff tomorrow, and we'll need the sandbags. If we get them from where we've been offered them, a local supplier has offered them for free if we want them, but they would need to be filled, and that would need to be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unless we could
I think we can
cobble it for
we
a
can
couple of
cobble it
days.
for a couple of days. I think just
Yeah.
and then we can deal with it depending
As
on
long
what
as we
we
don't
need
get
to
any
do.
strong wind, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Right.
So there's nothing else on remembrance. Anything that we need to deal with urgently.
So we're meeting at 1:30.
Yes.
Where?
By the war
War
memorial.
room.
And then from there we'll allocate
Allocate,
who's
yeah.
going to where and issue you with your walkie-talkies, etc.
Mhm.
If we have an issue with walkie-talkies, I now have another contact that has them.
Oh, brilliant.
So, just in case.
I'll grab the high vis and give them a wash.
Okay. Right, item 59, update on the October event. Well, only to say that all the ducks are out there. We have had a few people coming in, haven't we, with
Yeah, quite a lot.
collecting their little treats, etc. I think it's gone down quite well. Yeah, it is what it is, really. It's a simple event. We've not had to do anything for it, so I think it's just nice to get the children out there doing something and looking in the windows.
You don't need me at the weekend, do you?
No.
No.
No, we'll just keep it to opening times of the office, and then I'll go out and collect up all the little ducks afterwards and bring them back so we can reuse them another time. Item 60 is update on the December event and to agree what format. Obviously we didn't really discuss this in too much detail last time. We threw around a few ideas, but now we have got confirmation that there are other things going on. I think that maybe this year we leave organising too much of an event. A, because we haven't got a lot of time, and B, we don't want to encroach on what other people are organising for this year, and then we can maybe work with them another year and organise something for the road closure and the traditional Christmas event that we're planning to do hopefully next year. I do think we should do something though, and as we have got the trophy for window dressing, I would suggest that that is something that we do still run, because then all of the shops that decorate their windows would be judged. Now, how we want to do that is down to a discussion. Do we think it should be public vote or arrange for somebody to judge it? How do we want to go ahead?
I think because the problem we had last time was we shortlisted them and then the shortlisted would public vote, and the consensus was from the public that they'd want to vote on all of them. So I would have thought it's probably going to be best just to do a public vote and leave it down to them to choose.
Sounds good.
So how are we going to run the public vote? Can we run it through Facebook?
Yeah, we can run it through Facebook. The only thing is you'd probably want to have somewhere physical as well to vote, just so it's not all online. It depends how many shops you'd have taking part as to how many photographs and how complex it's going to be.
Could you put something, following on from the success of the ducks, could you not get each person to put something hidden in the window? Coming to that.
Coming to that. Yeah, no idea. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. So we think we can do something around the Christmas windows on Facebook, and then are we just going to give people the option of putting their preferred window on a piece of paper and just putting it through our letterbox?
Yeah, I think that's easier. Just do like a little If
Rather
we,
than
if we
having
number
to
them
come
one
in.
to whatever, and then we just say put it through a letterbox and then we'll collate it.
And what date are we going to have cut off? Because we'll need to give out the trophies and first, second and third certificates prior to Christmas, won't we? So what date do we want to cut off? Where are we? Let's have a look. What date is the office closing, Jan?
24, Christmas Eve.
Okay, so they need to be decided before then. I would say that we have all votes in by Friday the 17th,
It's end of school term, isn't it? Sounds
and then that gives us a few days to collate everything, because it's going to take a bit of collating, and then we can go out probably on the 23rd and give out the trophy.
Yep.
So we'll need to concoct a letter to go to the businesses so that they're aware that we're doing it. They don't need to enter. I don't think it's necessary for them to enter.
Maybe
Would you
just
want to
say
do
if
that?
they don't want to be part of it.
Yeah,
To let us know.
Yeah, to let us know if they don't want to be part of it.
because if somebody's not part of it and then you get somebody voting for them.
But there'll be a list. Well, there'll be photographs will be out there, won't they?
We'll have to somehow number the shops.
We could put a number in the windows.
Yeah, so a number of the participating shops in the windows. And then people just write down the winner that they want and can put it through a letterbox or vote on Facebook.
How many usually take part?
Most of them, to be fair. There's probably a couple that choose not to, just because they don't think that it's something that they particularly want to get involved in. They still decorate the window, but they don't necessarily want to be judged. I think the last time, I would say probably 80% of the businesses took part. So, yeah, we'll just need to, I think you'll probably need around about 50 letters, I would say. Because then they'll go out to the edges. So if we can get those out, we really want, I mean, they'll start decorating their windows either,
Since Halloween comes down.
well, with the Big Bang, some of them will
Oh, yes,
already
I
be
heard that,
doing
yeah.
their windows, but some of them will probably adjust it between the Big Bang and
Yeah.
What date is that again?
4th of November. So I would say if they have their windows ready by the end of November.
Yeah.
So by Friday the 26th. And then that gives us plenty of time for people to vote then, doesn't it? Okay, so I think that's that one. The other little idea we had whilst we were thinking over the weekend is around the whole duck idea, because the ducks did seem to go down quite well, because it's simple and the children like it, because it's a bit different. We were thinking if we could run a Advent duck trail, so that each little duck would be decorated with a little hat on and a number, and then they would be put in windows, so we'd need to go around each shop and ask them whether they would want to participate, and there would be 24 obviously for Advent, so that gives us quite a good range of businesses. And then what we were thinking is potentially, rather than just having to find the ducks, that we then release where the duck is each day and put it out on Facebook, and then also give the business an opportunity to put a piece of promotion with that, so that we actually say, this business is doing this and this on the run up to Christmas, or if they've got something that they particularly want to advertise, they can do that. And then it takes it into another realm. It will go throughout the whole of December, helping the businesses, and then the children can still look for the items in the window as well. There would be no competition as such, but it would still be an activity that they could do.
Yes.
So, do you think that's a sensible idea?
Yeah.
Again, fairly simple. It would just mean that each business would need to commit to having the duck and commit to giving us the details of what they want on their little spiel.
I think it's good. It promotes the high street, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I think if everybody's happy, I think what we need to do is start to tackle them fairly quickly, because we've only got the November to actually get them signed up. So if I start going out in the next week or so and just asking around as to who, and collate a list of 24 people that want to get involved, and then allocate which week they'll be having their duck revealed. And
Do you want a letter to go out?
I don't think we will need a letter. I think it would be better to explain it face to face rather than actually read a letter.
Do you want to deliver the letter for the window competition at the same time or not?
Possibly, yes, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
So when you've got the letters ready, Jan, then I'll go out and deliver and discuss with people as well.
Yeah.
Because District Council are also running their trail as well, Nutcracker Trail, so that will give two things for the children to find, but then the businesses can benefit from the Advent reveal. So, yeah. So now we just need to get more ducks.
And little Christmas nuts.
But we'll deal with that. I'll see whether I can get the ducks from the same person that we've got these ones from. And sort that out. Okay, item 61 is to agree the budget for 22-23. There isn't much really to agree other than that we've allocated £5,000 for events, which we would like included in the precept. Because obviously we've got Jubilee coming up and car show and Christmas next year. So I'm thinking 5,000 should cover all of those, because it's mainly advertising and booking of entertainment that we need that funds for. So I think that gives us enough in the pot. So we've got a little bit of leeway. So if we're happy, if we can agree that budget to put
Yes.
forward.
Second.
Agree? Yeah. I do. Item 62, update on next year's Jubilee. Obviously we had the public meeting, went down very well. We haven't really progressed from there very much at this stage, but I think get Christmas out of the way and we'll need to really start planning that a lot more and booking in things ready, because they will get booked up very quickly.
We did have a discussion at the training for road closure, etc. And was it February time we would have to be in by definitely the deadline for Jubilee. But I would have thought it's best to start discussing that with County Council as soon as possible, because with that one you need diversions and things because it'd be in place for the whole day. So we need to start planning that sooner rather than later, just so we know what requirements we need to fulfil. And then once we know we can do that, then we can plan the entertainment and everything else that's going to go on and start coordinating with different groups.
So I think that maybe our next events meeting, if we keep that mainly to brainstorming and thinking about the Jubilee, so that we can have a much clearer picture of what we're actually proposing, and then start to talk to highways pretty soon about that.
Mm.
And then we can start afresh in January with A, organising Remembrance, and B, organising Jubilee.
What I was thinking is you could end up putting in all your road closures and arranging everything pretty soon on in the year, because if they're all going to be the same type of, the same area, give or take, then it's going to be the same requirements for every single one, isn't it?
Still need marshals, even though there's that diversion in place.
Yeah.
Every road.
So again, I think you get up to Christmas, and I do think, as one of the volunteers suggested, that we need to go out and actually form a register of volunteers that are prepared to help with events, so that we've got it there and we can contact those and we know that we've got them ready to go for whatever the event may be. And then if we do need to train people a little bit more, we've got a bit of time to get those things done.
I'm still trying to find out about the beacon.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately it's out of our hands, other than asking the question, which we have done, and our district councillor is aware of that. So it's just a matter of keep chasing, really, isn't it? But we will need to know whether it is a viable option. Are we actually going to be able to do it? Because we are likely to need some form of road closure around that to keep people safe, because it is such a confined area. So we have got to know whether we're going to be looking at doing that, and whether we're looking at closing part of that road for a period of time.
I mean, if you were closing that bit round the back of the beacon, the smaller road, then would you be closing it for much longer than an hour?
Probably not.
In which case you shouldn't need a diversion. We should be able to just marshal it, and then that'll be okay. But yeah, I think you would, if it's going to be a bigger event and you're going to have enough people there, you're going to need to close off the road to make it safe. At least the one at the back, at least.
The last time we did it for the Golden Jubilee, there were a lot of people there, and we did have music and a bar there as well.
Right.
But it depends on how people feel about. You've got to limit the numbers up there, because you've got to be far enough away from the beacon to be safe. And that doesn't give you a lot of leeway. You can't go too far towards the road, and yes, you can close off that road, but you're only really going to be looking at
Gaining a couple of metres.
you're not going to have an awful lot of space there. So it's as to whether you keep that fairly low key event and just have invited guests to it, rather than having it open to the public. Don't know.
I think it's difficult, because you're going to have some children where it's their first time of having a jubilee, and they're going to want to see. I think you just have to put it out there and say we've only got limited space, so you're just going to have to be.
Is the area opposite the triangle, which
yes.
is quite a nice big area that could be used?
You could, if you were going to have bar and music, you could end up using that there, closing the road off in the middle, so all the way around the beacon, not the main road, but the other bit, and then that would create a decent sized area, wouldn't it, combined?
I have absolutely no idea
Do you
where
not
the,
know where?
where the beacon
Okay,
is.
so when you're going out towards Spalding,
Yeah.
as you're coming out of, well, you go round the roundabout, the Link Road roundabout, and then as you're going out that way, as you come to the end of Holbeach, and
Oh, I know where you mean,
it's
yes.
just there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got a little
There's a
triangle.
road that comes.
Yes, yeah. So you've got the triangle where the beacon is, and then you've got another area which is obviously highways across.
On the other side.
Yes. So you've got a little bit of
Yeah.
leeway there. You could extend out slightly.
Busy road.
Busy road,
Mm.
A lot of houses going up, aren't there?
yeah. And that's the issue, because of the new housing all down that area. You are more likely to get more people turning up now, because it's something at their end of the town.
And they could walk.
Whereas before, if you're living in the town centre, actually to go all the way out there is something that a lot of people wouldn't bother doing. But of a summer's evening, you'll get a lot of people walking out to do it. So we do need to look at that one in quite a lot of detail, I think. And that would be the first event of the whole Jubilee, so probably that needs to be our focus, our next meeting, work out what we are planning to do that.
Do we need to wait till the next meeting to contact highways about all of these road closures, or would it be better to contact them, find out the requirements needed for the beacon and also for High Street, and then be able to discuss it in detail so we know how many marshals and stuff we'd be requiring and things, because then we can start going out to people quite quickly.
Based on how much of the high street side of it, how much you want to close off, isn't it?
I was thinking you would be doing from the traffic lights at Co-op up to the traffic lights at Market Hill. But again, if we know the requirements for that stretch, if that's not going to be feasible, then we just keep reducing it until it is feasible. I think
Is the pharmacies in the Co-op?
Yeah.
I can't see very well on that one.
yeah.
That's not very clear.
So it'd be the west side of Co-op.
I don't think it goes down far enough. No. It's a nuisance.
You would need, I think, you would need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stroke 12, I think.
Yeah, so you would need 10/12 on the actual roadways, and then obviously depending on how many people you're attending the event and how complex it is and things like that, you'd then need your additional marshals milling around in the middle. So you're probably going to be getting at least 20 marshals in total, but in terms of obviously the training delivered what we needed to do for a parade, so a road closure of only about an hour or less. But they did say that if you were intending doing anything over an hour, you'd need diversion and you need to contact highways for advice beforehand. So I think given that we would need to be submitting the final road closure in February, we need to be starting that pretty soon.
There's also something coming in that they told us about called Martin's Law, which comes off the back of the Manchester Arena bombings, which may mean that we would have to inspect bags of people entering, but we wouldn't know that. So you'd have to set tables up at access points.
Which would be tricky on High Street.
Yeah.
We'd have a lot of access points.
We would, but
Yeah.
it's
So-
But then I suppose each marshal manning a road closure is also, you know, they're the access points really, aren't they? But
you
I
don't
think
know if it's going to come in
Yeah.
or when it's going to come in.
I
Really.
think what we would need to do is have a plan A and a plan B.
Yeah.
So if we can't do the High Street and it is not a viable option, then we're going to have to look at plan B, which would have to be Carter's Park. Really, logically, wouldn't it? And still aim to do a similar event, but within a different area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think if we can get some information before our next meeting, albeit it would be, you know, with caveats, because
yeah, the start of the
it would
yeah.
be the start of the process, and then we actually start planning out how long an event we're looking at doing, what sort of things we want to include in it.
Because once you know rough required decision making of what you're actually going to be planning on doing, there's no point starting planning it if it's not realistically going to be feasible.
Because the thing is, obviously with High Street, if you need those marshals on those key points at all times, you can't expect somebody to be stood there all day.
No.
So you're going to have to swap people out, which means you need more marshals.
Yeah, we sort of said about 4 sets, didn't we, when we were talking about it? So you swapped people.
Especially if you're talking, a full day.
Yeah.
It could be hot.
So you're really only going to be expecting somebody to marshal on those areas probably for 2 hours at a time and then swap out.
Yeah, which if you needed 10 on the roads and then you had another 10 in the middle, that's 20, you could just about do 4 kind of shifts and keep swapping over. And that could be feasible, but it's going to be tight. You would still need additional marshals just in case somebody was ill or something happened.
So then logically we have got to think, okay, so we're going to need really 50 people, really logically, aren't we, to make it work? Well, you are, because if you're making it a whole day thing, you've got to allow people to go home for a period of time if they wish to and have a full proper break. So you've got to have potentially 50 people available for the day, albeit that they'll be doing only short shifts, but you've got to allow for 50, I would suggest, to keep it.
Yeah, I would say you'd want 50 confirmed, because then probably a 10 are going to dwindle by the actual day. So then you're going to have 40, and then
And
So-
that would be over 18 as well, so you
Yeah.
can't have
Yeah.
young groups.
And if that is then not going to be able to be delivered, then you can't do it with road closures, so then you're going to have to look at doing it on a safer area.
Which you could still plan the same event, but have it as a plan B that you'd have it in Carter's Park instead of on the High Street. It would still work, but it would just be a lot nicer to have it in the High Street. But also, if we can't make it feasible for the Jubilee, it's not going to be feasible for Christmas Fair. So we are really going to have to seriously look at it.
Yeah.
And if it means shortening the route a little bit, so you're just removing a couple of roadways, that's going to be, quite a lot of people you're reducing for your marshals. You just have to really look at your route in detail, which obviously highways can help us provide a traffic management plan, can't they? To tell us where the signs would need to be, how many marshals you need, all those sort of things. And also approving the diversions and everything else. So if we can talk to them about feasibility of it, then once we've got the basis for the longest route, we then start working it through, and if it means shortening it a bit to make it feasible or moving it to Carter's Park as plan B, you can then start working through your options in plenty of time.
Because time will slip away very quickly after Christmas. We won't have a lot of time at all, really, will we?
We need to.
So next month really needs to be just about Jubilee.
So 63.
63 is Jubilee.
Jubilee. What are we planning to do?
And then maybe just a quick update on the window judging.
Update on December again.
Yeah. So, item 64, if nobody else has got anything else that they want as an agenda item, confirm the date of the next meeting.
So now we've now got planning, open spaces, and I've got an appointment on the 25th.
To be
That
fair,
week is a bit of a
I
nightmare.
would go into December and then we will not have a meeting we won't need a December meeting anyhow, and then we can go straight into January. So anywhere within the first couple of weeks of December, I would have thought.
2nd.
Yeah, because then we can still get agenda items for the full council. Just
Yeah, because full council's the 13th, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
So you wanted to do 4 o'clock again, or?
It-
rules Dan out.
It does. I think if
5?
we say 5, can Dan make 5 o'clock? If Dan were able to attend, we can make 5.
Don't think he can do 5,
Okay.
from what he said before, because I don't think he finishes work till 4, but I'm not.
Or do you want to set it for 4 and then have a conversation and see if he
Yeah.
will be there? And then if he
Because if
is,
he's not,
just
if
adjust
he's
it.
not able to be there because of circumstances, then we'll keep it at 4.
Yeah.
But if he wants to attend, then we'll look at shifting it back slightly. Okay, if that's everything, we'll close the meeting then.